Have you ever set your alarm for 5 a.m. with big plans only to hit snooze and wake up at 8 feeling guilty? Maybe you've heard that successful music people wake up early. Maybe you've tried it once, twice, maybe 10 times, but you always slip back into your old habits. You tell yourself, I'm just not a morning person. I need music, my sleep. But what if the first hour of your day could change your entire life? What if one man's story could prove that your music future is quietly decided before the sun even rises? This is the story of a man who had nothing until 500 music AM became his secret weapon. Stay with me until the end because this music might be the wake-up call you've been waiting for. In a small industrial town where factories hummed day and night music, there lived a 32-year-old man named David. David worked as a night security guard at a textile warehouse. Every evening at 8 p.m. music, he arrived at the gate. Every morning at 6 a.m., exhausted and drained, he walked home. His salary was barely enough to survive. He lived in a tiny one-room apartment with music, a broken fan, a thin mattress on the floor and a flickering music light bulb that struggled whenever the electricity dropped. His clothes were old. His shoes had holes. But the hardest part of his music life was not poverty. It was the feeling of being stuck. Every morning as David walked home through quiet streets, he saw other music people's lives through their windows, families eating breakfast together, children preparing for school, men in clean shirts leaving for office jobs, and David would often think, will this be my life forever? Walking home while everyone else wakes up to their dreams. He tried to change. He applied for better jobs, but with only a high school education, most doors closed. Music, he wanted to learn new skills, but after working all night, he was too tired to do anything except sleep. David's mother lived in the countryside. She called him once a week. David, my son, when will your life get better? I'm getting old. I want to see you succeed before I die. David would force a cheerful voice. Soon, Mom, I'm working on it. But the truth was painful. He didn't know how to change his music life. The worst part was that David wasn't lazy. He worked hard, every night. He stayed alert, walked around the warehouse for hours, and did his job honestly.
But hard work alone wasn't changing anything. Every morning when he collapsed into bed around 7 a.m., he felt like he was living his life backward. The world moved forward while he slept through it. One thought kept returning like a whisper in his mind. There has to be another way. One cold Tuesday morning in November, David's phone rang just as he was leaving work. It was his sister, Emily. David, you need to come home. Mom collapsed. She's in the hospital. His heart dropped. He took the first bus to his village. It was a 3-hour journey that felt like an eternity. When he arrived at the small rural clinic, David's mother was lying in bed, weak but conscious. The doctor said she had fainted from exhaustion and stress. She needed better food, rest, and medicine they could barely afford. David's mother held his hand weakly. David, I don't have much time left. Please don't waste your life the way I wasted mine. Find a way. Promise me. David sat beside her long after she fell asleep. He stared at her rough hands that had worked in fields for decades, just like he worked through the nights. Both of them struggling but going nowhere. Something inside David cracked. Not from sadness, from anger. Anger at his helplessness. He stepped outside the clinic into the pre-dawn darkness. It was exactly 5 a.m. The village was quiet. A few farmers were already walking toward their fields. Birds had begun their morning songs. In that quiet moment, David made a decision. No more, he whispered. I won't live like this anymore. No matter how hard it is, I will find a way. On the bus ride back to town, David noticed a man sitting across from him. He was in his 50s, well-dressed, calm, and reading a book. David recognized him. It was Mr. Harrison, a successful businessman who owned several shops in town. But what surprised David was the time. It was 6 a.m. Why would a successful businessman ride a regular bus so early in the morning? Finally, David gathered the courage to speak. "Excuse me, sir. Why are you on this early bus?" Mr. Harrison looked up and smiled. "Because I wake up at 4:30 every morning. I use the early hours to read, think, and plan my day before the world wakes up." David looked confused. "But don't you need sleep?" "I sleep at 9 p.m., Mr. Harrison replied calmly. 7.5 hours is enough." He studied David's tired face. "You work nights?" "Yes, security guard." "And when do you sleep?" "Usually from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mr. Harrison nodded slowly. "So, you're awake when the world sleeps and asleep when the world builds its future. No wonder you feel stuck." Then he leaned forward and said something David would never forget. "Young man, the hours between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. are magic hours. That's when you build your future while everyone else is still dreaming." David felt hope rise, but doubt followed immediately. "But how? I work until morning. I need sleep." "Then change your sleep," Mr. Harrison said simply. "Sleep when you get home. Wake up earlier. Even 5 hours is enough for now, then use the morning hours to build your life." Mr. Harrison took out a small card and wrote his phone number. "If you are serious about changing your life, call me. I will show you what to do with those hours, but only if you are disciplined." David held the card tightly. That day, he made a promise to himself. "Tomorrow, I will start." The next morning, David's alarm rang at 5 a.m. His body protested. His mind whispered, "Just one more hour." But then he remembered David's mother lying in the hospital bed holding his hand. He forced himself to stand up. The first week was miserable. Every morning, David sat at his small table watching free tutorials on YouTube about Excel and accounting. His eyes burned. His mind felt slow. Sometimes he wanted to quit. At 6 a.m., he forced himself to walk outside for 30 minutes. Then he spent another 30 minutes reading or practicing what he had learned. By 7:30 a.m., he went to sleep before preparing for his night shift later. It was exhausting. It was lonely, but he kept going. Around day 20, something surprising happened. One morning, David woke up at 4:58 a.m., 2 minutes before the alarm. For the first time, he didn't feel tired. He felt ready. The lessons began making sense. Excel formulas became easier. Accounting concepts became clearer. His morning walks became peaceful moments he started to enjoy. Watching the sunrise, he felt something new. By the end of 2 months, David had completed several online courses. He had gained new skills and even started feeling more confident. His co-workers began noticing. "David, you look different," one of them said. "Healthier, happier." David smiled and replied, "I'm changing my life 2 hours at a time." In the 3rd month, David decided to apply his new skills at work. The warehouse inventory was messy and poorly organized. David created a simple Excel spreadsheet that tracked all incoming and outgoing goods. He showed it to his supervisor. The supervisor looked surprised. "David, where did you learn this?" "I wake up at 5 a.m. every day and teach myself." Word reached the warehouse manager and eventually the owner. On the 87th day of David's 5 a.m. routine, he was called into the office. "David," his supervisor said, "we're expanding our accounting department. We need someone who understands warehouse operations and has bookkeeping skills." He paused and smiled. "The job is yours if you want it. Day shift, double your salary." David stood there speechless. 3 months ago, he had been a hopeless night guard. Now he was being offered an office job. "When do I start?" he asked. "Next Monday." That evening, David called Mr. Harrison. "Music, Mr. Harrison, I did it. 90 days. I didn't miss a single morning, and today I got promoted." There was a short pause. Then Mr. Harrison said warmly, "I knew you would succeed, but remember something important. Don't stop waking up early. This is no longer a strategy. It is who you are." David replied firmly, "I won't stop." 1 year later, David had become the company's lead accountant. Music, he saved enough money to move David's mother to town and provide her with proper medical care. He even rented a comfortable 2-bedroom apartment for them. And every morning, David still woke up at 5 a.m. Not because he had to, but because those hours had become sacred. That was the time he used to learn new skills, read books, and plan his future. Whenever co-workers asked why he still woke up so early, David would smile and say, "Success is not a destination. It's a daily practice, and mine begins at 5 a.m. So friend, if you also want to change your life like David, then this story of David can provide you something very powerful. Your life can change. Not someday, not when luck arrives, but starting tomorrow morning. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is often not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is simply how you use the quiet hours when everyone else is sleeping. Between 5 and 7 a.m., the world is silent. No distractions, no noise. Your mind is fresh and your focus is stronger. This is when you build the future you keep dreaming about. So, tonight, set your alarm for 5 a.m., not 5:15, not 5:30, exactly 5 a.m. Then decide what you will build in your first hour tomorrow. Commit to it for 90 days, because your future might be waiting on the other side of tomorrow's 5 a.m. alarm. Will you be awake?